Going back to the top of this conversation, you talked about how everybody listening right now has a variety of different health futures.
Yeah.
And which health future they end up in is going to be determined by the everyday decisions they make.
Yes.
So I want to really zoom in on some of those everyday decisions. We talked about you and your biscuits. And at the time you said you were probably quite sedentary as a doctor.
Yeah.
Sitting in a chair, patients
all day
coming
long.
in.
Yeah.
You weren't doing exercise?
No, I didn't fundamentally believe it would make that much difference. And this is such a great point. You've a really great point. So let's think about weight loss. So I would give advice on weight loss to my patients, and I would say, eat less and move more. And I'd even sometimes say that Belson thing, the no fat people came out of Belson.
I've never heard that before.
But it's a horrible thing to say to a patient, isn't
What's
it?
Belson?
Well, that's in World War II where they all starved. Poor things.
Okay.
So the point is you're saying to somebody with an obesity problem,
It's their fault.
Yes, you're blaming them. That's exactly the point. And that's what I did. And it's worse than that because I give them that advice and it just about never works. I did a horrible thing. I used to say to them, right, so why don't you just have 2 tablespoons of all bran a day?
Oh, breakfast cereal.
Yeah, with skim milk. And I would advise a few multivitamins and a couple of pints of skimmed milk a day. That was my advice. And then when it didn't work, who do you think I blamed?
Them.
Yeah. And this was all part of my epiphany. I never joined the dots that the failure was not theirs, it was mine. And that's horrible, isn't it? Imagine 25 years of I was blaming patients for their failure to lose weight. And it was my failure because I didn't give them advice that worked. And if you keep giving the same advice to people and it doesn't work, shouldn't I have questioned, but isn't that happening in society overall? How are we doing? How are we doing with health? How's it going? It's a disaster, isn't it? So we need to do something different. But for me, for 25 years, I did not believe that lifestyle was key, and now I do. And that's why I didn't think that the biscuits made that much difference. Obviously, I knew basic nutrition, so I made sure there's protein and there's iron and stuff. I fundamentally believed that drugs is what I should be using, medication, and that lifestyle was a sort of add-on. Isn't that terrible?
I think this is so important because it really gets to what I believe the average person thinks as well.
Yeah.
We were talking before we started recording about some of my friends. There's 2 friends I mentioned. One of them is a very, very successful businessman. Everybody knows who this person is. And they asked me this weekend, is pizza healthy? And I just couldn't believe it. Shook
It's
my
gobsmacking. It's like, what pizza? What?
Because they were trying to choose between. They usually have a big 12-inch pizza for lunch. And he was asking me, what's healthier, Stephen? Nando's chicken or this 12-inch pizza he was going to get? And I literally looked at him like I was looking at a ghost. I was like, are you winding me up? And he was genuinely serious. He's almost 60 years old now. And he doesn't know if a chicken breast is healthier than a 12-inch pizza. And the other example that I mentioned to you before we started recording is a very famous Premier League football superstar legend who you would assume had gone through those sort of 15, 20 years of being an academy player and then a pro athlete, knows what has sugar in and what doesn't. And he was asking me, is a big spaghetti carbonara, is that healthy? Is that a health food? Because he said to me during his football years, they were told always to carb load. And again, it gave me a huge amount of empathy because it made me realize how, even though there's podcasts like this where we talk so much about health, and even though there's the internet now, this information is not getting through to the average person for some reason. And they too, I believe, think exactly what you just said, that health is, it's this sort of accessory where my fate is determined anyway. And if I do this health stuff, which is a bit of an inconvenience because these Percy pigs taste great, or these candies taste great, then I might be able to look a little bit better, a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. Yeah. But my fate is determined.
Yeah. The simple point, nutrition, we're not teaching it. So there's only 3 macronutrients. There's only protein, fats, and carbohydrate. And yet your friends there haven't even got the 3 macronutrients. And they are successful, intelligent people. Mm-hmm. So somewhere we're going badly wrong, aren't we?
There was another example that's really front of mind to me, which was, I'm in Dragon's Den at the moment, and someone came in and pitched a fruit snack business. And it's basically dried out fruit pieces. Now, I looked at the back.
I'm loving this already.
Yeah. I looked at the back.
Yes.
And it said, in the range of 60 to 70% sugar. Because what they've done is they've taken exotic fruits like mangoes, dried them out, and now you have this little chip, which is this just piece of mango, 60, 70% sugar. So I'm looking at the back of this thing thinking, this is candy. Yeah. This is basically candy.
Thank you.
But I'm looking around, and because it uses the word fruit, people have this sort of halo assumption that if the word fruit is on it, fruit juice, fruit snacks.
It'll sell.
Yeah.
And also it's a sort of who cares about the consequence, but we'll make a pile of money selling dried up fruit, and they miss what you read on the back.
Yeah. And it's 67% sugar. I was like, this is not healthy.
Is that okay? How's that? What if somebody had type 2 diabetes? What for kids is we'll just give them. Yeah. And you've touched on another thing about what's going wrong. So when we look at my practice and this epidemic, and really, as I've said already, it's not an epidemic, it's a pandemic. It's everywhere. I go all over the world, and obesity, type 2 diabetes, poor metabolic health it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And I think one of the things, touching on what you just said, is so you wake up and you have your cereals for breakfast.
Which you've got some here.
Which we have some cereals there. And then you'll have, why don't you have a big glass of fresh orange juice as well? Great idea. And then, that's your breakfast. But then on the way in, you have a little snack, and people do. They buy a bar or some crisps or something like that. And then even at school, they might get a muffin mid-morning. It's fair enough. They might then have an apple. At lunchtime, you're going to have some sandwiches, and then you've eaten your sandwich. So you might have a cake or something, or some ice cream. Then you'll go home, and then it's time for maybe your chips or your pizza. What you've actually done is had sugar all day long. There's hardly any protein. Going back then to those where was the protein to grow you? And that's the thing, that's changed over time, that the snacking. So I come across a lot of young people, and their mother is saying, I can't get him to eat any proper food. He just eats snacks all day long, and he won't. They can't get protein in them. And some of them are actually thin kids. They're not all fat.
Let's talk about what you just said there. And we can walk through the day using the food we have on this table. Now, I just want to caution that we do have some people that are probably out walking their dog listening and can't see. So we're going to have to do a bit of a voiceover as to what's going on. But you said wake up in the morning, you have your cereal. Yeah. Now, cereal, growing up, I thought was a health food.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
How much sugar is in the average standard bowl of, let's say, frosted cereal?
Well, we can do this different ways, Stephen. Mm-hmm. This is actually like a test for you laid out here.
Oh, gosh, is that for... Okay.
Yeah, this is a test for you, and I'll describe it. So what you've got a bowl of, we'll call them, they're cornflakes. Mm-hmm. Then you've got a potato, a baked potato. It isn't baked yet, but you could bake it if you want. You've got 150 grams, and this is boiled rice. So it's not dry, it's boiled rice. You've got a very ripe banana. And at the end there, you've got a delicious looking chocolate bar.
Yeah.
So you've got there some cubes of sugar. And this is the test bit, you see, as to how I'm going to give you, we'll score you in the end. Okay. So what I'd like you to do is consider these relatively And each of those cubes of sugar represents a 4-gram teaspoon of sugar.
Yeah.
So if you could now just go along these and put beside each food what you believe to be the equivalent in terms of teaspoons of sugar, and then I'll give you a score and see how you do.
Okay.
And those are the answers, so I'm going to turn it down so you don't cheat.
Okay, so I'm going to score them as I would have thought 2 years ago.
Thank you. Yes.
Because 2 years, I've interviewed a lot of experts, so I'm generally quite shocked by all these things. But I'm going to score them as I would have thought when I was 31 years old 2 years ago. So
yes, that's great.
Cereal, honestly.
Yeah. And there's no sugar on it. It's not a sugared cereal. It's just the dry flakes.
I honestly didn't think there was sugar in that.
Yeah.
So if you had pushed me, I would have...
Well, give it 1, eh?
I'll give it 1.
Thank you.
But I didn't think there was sugar in that.
1.
Again, a potato, I didn't think there was any sugar in a potato. So even giving it 1 feels like I'm lying because I didn't think there was sugar in a potato. And I'll be honest, rice, I didn't think there was any sugar in rice.
Okay.
A banana, it tastes sweet.
Yes.
So my brain would have said 1.
Yeah.
But this chocolate bar that's in front of me, I would have said, I'm going to say 2.
Okay.
2 or, I'm going to say 3.
Right.
I'm going to say 3. I actually think it was 2, but
right.
That's how much sugar I would have thought was in all of these things here. Cereal, a potato, white rice, a banana, and a chocolate bar.
Right, well...
To be fair, I still kind of do, but I know better.
So now I'm going to give you the correct figure. Now, this is worked out from the glycemic load that we already discussed. So I explained about the glycemic load. And then, so in clinical practice, I had a problem. And my problem was in 10 minutes trying to explain to you how you could eat differently and why you should eat differently. And so I needed a way of quickly communicating with children, with old people, with a teacher, the consequences of dietary choices. So I came up with a new idea, which was, why don't we represent the glycemic load, and instead of using grams of glucose, which nobody understands, and what's glucose anyway, instead of doing that, we redid the calculations, redoing it for 4-gram teaspoons of sugar. And that's my teaspoon of sugar equivalent system. And I'm using that now to give you the correct answer.
Okay.
Right. So the cornflakes is 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
With no frosting?
No frosting.
What on earth?
No milk, nothing. The potato, obviously it depends on its size. That's quite a big one. So that one is 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's more. 5, 6 is 9. There they go. 9.
Equivalent of 9 sugar cubes.
Is that 9?
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to leave the rice till last. That chocolate bar is actually, you could do it for me, is 7.5. So you can give it 7. 7. Now, the banana depends on the size and how ripe it is. A ripe banana has more sugar in, as you probably know when you eat it. But that, let's say that banana is quite a ripe one. It looks quite ripe. Let's say that's 6 because it's a big banana.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Then the final one, obviously, is going to be the killer, isn't it?
I thought rice was healthy.
Well, I
thought
suppose
white
it
rice
depends.
was really healthy.
It depends. So, 1, this is 150 grams of boiled rice. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So that's the winner. And I would say that's the single fact around the world. So my teaspoon of sugar, there we are. That's one of my teaspoon of sugar charts. So what you've got there is the food, the glycemic index, the serving size, and then the teaspoons of sugar there. So this is available. The Public Health Collaboration is a charity I helped set up with Dr. Rangan Chatterjee 10 years ago. It's our 10th anniversary tomorrow. These infographics, there are actually far more than this. There's 7 more. They're available in 35 languages. Volunteers have translated this to go all over the world. It's not copyrighted. I want people to steal it, take it, use it. So the white rice fact, I would say, has astonished people all over the world and led to me becoming far better known.
What about orange juice? A lot of parents, including my parents, gave me orange juice, and I used to think that orange juice was a health food. So I'd go to the fridge, open the Sunny Delight or whatever it was,
Sunny Delight,
and I would drink that, and I'd think I'm going to be strong and big, and my body's going to love me.
Well, there's a lot of sugar in orange juice. There's a lot of sugar in orange juice, and you've taken away once you take it from the fruit as it was meant to be, and you juice it, the sugar hit is fast. So what that does is, if we go back to insulin again, so you drink the orange juice, your blood sugar goes up rapidly. So your body responds rapidly with insulin. Then what happens? Your blood sugar falls, but then you're kind of hungry again. And that's what happened to me with the biscuits, wasn't it? I ate biscuits, my blood sugar is up, then insulin comes in, heavy and slow, but too much. Then I thought I was having a panic attack because I had low blood sugar. And what's the answer to that? More biscuits. And round you go, round. And that's how, without thinking, you'd start the day. Starting the day with a sugary breakfast without enough protein in it is driving hunger. And then you wonder why you're ravenously hungry at 10 o'clock.
There was a few others that shocked me. One of them was I was in Peru, and obviously Peru's quite famous for chocolate because of the cacao and all that stuff. Yeah. And so we went to a chocolate making class, and he told us to make dark chocolate, normal chocolate, and then white chocolate.
Yeah.
And when I made the white chocolate, this guy got me this big glass cylinder, and he goes, "Here's some white sugar." He goes, "Pour it in." So I get it, and I pour some in, and he goes, "No, my friend, pour it in."
Yeah.
And I pour it and 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 pour it. And I'm not kidding you. I feel like, and I have to check the facts here, so community note me on the screen, Diversio team. I feel like I poured into this huge glass cylinder 80% of white sugar.
Yes,
and
would.
Then
it's true.
Yeah, and then he said,
true.
Put some syrup in. I went, what? Syrup. I said, this is white sugar. It was like some syrupy stuff, some oil stuff. And I was like, so white sugar, so white chocolate is like 80% white sugar.
Yeah.
I've never eaten white chocolate since.
Yeah.
Ever.
That's so important. So very often people think they're a chocoholic. That's really common that people say to me, I'm addicted to chocolate. If you actually look at how much sugar there is in milk chocolate, there's many teaspoons of sugar in milk chocolate. If you eat 90% dark chocolate, there's only about 2 teaspoons of sugar in a bar. And what you find with the chocoholics is I say, well, if you're addicted to chocolate, why don't you get a bigger hit and have the dark chocolate? And they say, oh, I couldn't eat that, it's too bitter. What they're actually addicted to is the sugar. So I've done there is, for the folks at home, there is one of these sugar infographics on chocolate, on that subject of chocolate, because I want people to understand the consequences of what they do.
So just to illustrate this, because we've just looked up the stats, right?
Yeah.
I think this is what I saw. Right?
Yeah.
I've just looked up the facts to make sure what I'm saying is true. When I made that bar of white chocolate in Peru, this was the total ingredients, and this is how much sugar they asked me to put into it.
Blimey.
I looked at it and thought, okay, so white chocolate is basically like 70% just pure white sugar, and nobody knows.
Yes, exactly.
Nobody knows.
Exactly.
And the other one I've got to be in my bonnet about is smoothies.
Yes, I have one too.
I thought smoothies were healthy.
Yeah, no. They're I'm on X or Twitter quite a lot, and that's the kind of thing fills me with rage, and I have to take a photo with like my Look at the sugar. It fills me with rage. I've got another thing. This is fun. I've got a question. Mm-hmm. Right, Stephen. Why don't we could take all the blood out of me, mm-hmm. right? There'd be 5 litres. We could bleed me out right now. There would be 5 litres of blood in me. Let's get it in a bucket, all right? 5 litres of blood. How much sugar would be in that 5 litres of blood?
I have no idea.
But it's an interesting question, isn't it? Because it relates to the consequences of eating some of these things. So I would just like you to estimate. So if, let's say my blood sugar is normal.
Yeah.
If you have a normal blood sugar, I would like you to guess how much sugar is there in my entire blood system.
One cup, like this.
Thank you. No. The answer is this. Let me show you. That is all there is.
You're joking?
I am not. And you see immediately...
1 sugar cube.
That's all. And I'll do it on Twitter for you, X. I can show you the calculations. So you see, if I have a banana and I have diabetes, there's too much sugar for me. You see, because glucose is, number 1, vital, but number 2, toxic if you have too much of it, the level of it in my blood is controlled minutely.
Wow.
It's controlled to this extent. And I think that single fact, you didn't know that, did you?
No, I did not at all.
And it immediately shows you how it's so easy to have more sugar than you actually need, given that.
And if your insulin stops working.
So for me, I've done an awful lot of this. So I monitor my blood sugar with a continuous glucose monitor. And I get my blood sugar up on my phone. So I can check at any time what my blood sugar is, and we'll do it in a minute and see. But you see, if I eat a banana, it doubles my blood sugar because I can't regulate my blood sugar.
Because of the diabetes?
Yeah. So a whole banana is far too much for me and will double my blood sugar. Because you see, if I'm only supposed to have this much and I have that much,
gosh, yeah,
it's too much for me and I feel ill.
If you love the Diary of a CEO brand and you watch this channel, please do me a huge favour. Become part of the 15% of the viewers on this channel that have hit the subscribe button. It helps us tremendously, and the bigger the channel gets, the bigger the guests.